30 days or less. I want to show you what I just got. I haven't even opened it. So usually I get some Star Wars stuff, but today I ordered a Spider-Man like frame. And so it's a big, big box. Let me push this over to the side. You see my Star Wars stuff. Oh, let's take a look at this right before, while everybody's coming in. Let's take a look at what we got here. So I've been taking a look at this place called Sideshow, right? And I got this really, well, I hope it's a really good piece. Let's see how it looks. It's supposed to look super nice. I'm going to hang it on the wall back there, which should be pretty sweet. Oh yeah, this looks nice. Let me know what you guys think on this one. All right. There's a reflection, but it's going to be right up there. Obviously, I'm into comics. I'm into Star Wars, all that good stuff. But that's pretty nice. I'm pretty happy with the results. All right, let's get right into it. 10 ways to get listings in 30 days or less. Are you ready? I am. So I did a lot of research here for you. This is based on information that we've tested over the years, and the market right now is really hot. And so I'm starting with the ones that I feel the most comfortable with. We've seen some that are not as great for some people, but I want to premise it with something before we get started here with these 10 things. And that's, I want to talk about your approach, because one thing that I hear in some markets is this: Tristan, that won't work in my market. Or, that's just not something I do. Look, whatever I'm telling you works in general. So I want you to take that mindset out and throw it out the window. So if you're going to try it, go all in. None of this half-ass thing. Okay, so here we go. Pay attention. Number one, it is expireds. Expireds. People are like, well, what's expiring right now? I'm like, well, have you taken a look at old expireds? Oh, I didn't think about that, Tristan. That's a good idea. Yeah. Over the last week, we've been calling expireds. And I'll share with you number two in a little bit, but we have a listing presentation from an old expired, right? Because we're calling. So here's what I got for you. When it comes down to expired, you need a few things. Number one is the dialogue. You need to know what to say and how to say it, right? It's all on the tonality and the approach, because one thing that people can hear all the time is that it sounds like every real estate agent that's calling sounds like they go to the same school. It's like, oh, they're saying the same thing over and over and over again, right? So expireds, but you've got to have the right tools. Let me show you really quick what we've got. We use RedX, and so you can see here on the top left, you go to expireds, and then all of a sudden it changes. It has 4,661. We can click on it. If you want to call them, the numbers are there when they're there. In this case, they don't have any. But when we go to the next one, we can go back to the list view and go to Paola. There's a phone number. And you can see where it says do not call. Do not call, do not call, do not call. There's one where you can call, and it has all the information on the right. And then we go from there. But sometimes they're like, well, Tristan, what the hell do I say? Right? Well, it's easy. You just pop open the script and it says, hey, Paula. And you can go from there. So that to me is super cool that it's all in one place, right? A lot of the times people are like, well, what do I do? Well, that's what you do. And I also recommend, if you want to go in deeper into this, find somebody who's an expert in this world, in this field. And we're looking at people like Darryl Davis, who's a really good friend of mine. He's a coach. And if you want the link, I'm putting it up on the YouTube version of this. So take a look at that. The next one is Borino. Borino is absolutely amazing at this as well. So both are really good. Darryl Davis, Borino. I'm putting up the links on the YouTube version of this. So just give it a few minutes. When I'm done, all the links will be there as well. That's number one. Number two may not sit well with some of you, because you just don't like cold calling, and that's for sale by owners. But over the last 2 weeks, our team has been going deep into for sale by owners. And it's an old school method that still works. The challenge is that most of us are still approaching it with that same approach, which sounds like a used car salesman when you're calling, right? And that's the opposite of what we want to do. The approach needs to be right. You need to connect with people on a personal level, and you need to come from value, giving back. Why are you calling them? How are you going to help them? Right? And it goes down to the scripts and the tonality. I've got some scripts that I'll put up there. Somebody says, not that I normally cold call, but where I am in New York. Yep, I got that. I'm going to address the New York one too. In some places you cannot call, right? But here in my state and in some other states, you can call. So you go deep and you call. Over the last week, we've gotten 4 listing appointments just from calling for sale by owners. Why? They're raising their hand. They're saying, I'm ready. Somebody do something about it. All right, and if we look at the stats, here, let me see if I can pull up some stats for you. When you look at the stats here, it's absolutely amazing. It baffles me that people don't understand. Here, this one, I think it's this one. Look at the primary reason for selling a home here for most people. They want to be closer to friends. They either want to move up, right? These are the reasons. So we have to get to the real reasons of why people want to move. And then we want to go a little deeper and be like, well, let's take a look at the most difficult steps of buying a home, right? For people in general. And then we start understanding the psychology of what people are doing. And then we go deeper into it. And to me, this one's really important when it comes to for sale by owners. And these are the NAR stats, right? So from 2020, they just came out. But take a look at this. Most difficult task for sale by owner sellers, right? What does that say? Preparing or fixing up the home for sale, understanding and performing paperwork, right? 53% of them said nothing. They did a great job on their own. But let's focus on the high ones here, getting the price right. So all of a sudden we start looking at this a different way, and we're like, well, why don't we start the conversation along those lines instead of calling and saying, hey, this is Tristan with Keller Williams Realty. I saw your home for sale. When are you looking to switch to a real estate agent? That sounds like commission breath all over the place. So come from a point of value and contribution. I'll put up the scripts on the YouTube channel on this. And also make sure that you're also using the right tools. I'm going to show you back to what we're using here on RedX because it makes my life a lot easier. All right, so I'm back on RedX, but this time I'm going to go back to, let's go to Vortex, which is RedX, right? But we're seeing here on the left, you see for sale by owners. We click on for sale by owners and it gives me all the for sale by owners. I can call them up. Again, it gives me the do not call numbers and the numbers I can call. In this case, this one's fine. I can call. If I don't know what to say, at least it gives me a guide. Check this out. Hey, I'm calling about your house for sale. Blah, blah, blah. Crap, crap, crap. Right? So at least you understand what to say, and it's dialing for you as well because there's a dialer. To me, it's all about making this process a lot smoother. And again, if you need help in going deeper, Darryl Davis, who I'll put up the links to, and Borino are great at this. And I put up my scripts as well. Now, you may be saying, well, Tristan, I can't make these calls. I can't do this because I'm in New York, or I just don't work that way. And look, I understand. That's fine if you don't work that way. Let's go into how we get most of our listings because we're doing well there. But let me show you what we do here a little step further. We use online seller leads. And the online seller leads that we gravitate to are two. They're Facebook and they're Google. Right? This is why when I was looking at the Wall Street Journal this morning, it said that Google is changing now to be more like Safari, which is Apple, and changing up their whole process on transparency. It's going to change up some things, so pay attention to that. But in the meantime, Google and Facebook, and typically when it comes to Facebook for seller leads, we go to a company called Street Text. Let me see if I can pull them up right now so you can at least see who they are. Street Text is kind of deceptive in the name because you would think like, well, what are they, right? Well, they're not a texting company. They create Facebook ads and they help you create opportunities for sellers, right? And obviously you see there, Lab Coat Agents does work with them. We do use them. I use them personally for my areas, and they do a very, very good job creating ads. So that's number one. Number two is Ylopo. We use Ylopo to create seller opportunities for us that are coming from Google PPC. Now, both of those, they're coming in at the amount of money we're investing in this, that people turn around and say, oh, I'm ready in this market. I'm ready to sell. And when you look at the approach on Google, just on Google, that's middle of funnel. They have intent, right? When they come and search for properties, check out the thinking, right? They're a buyer first, which is my number 4 one, but they're a buyer first. They have to determine if where they're moving is possible in order for them to feel comfortable to sell, right? So the intent when they're going on Google is, let's take a look, homes for sale in Malibu, California, around Pepperdine University. That has a lot of intent on that search, right? So that's how you have to start thinking. How's the approach? And then again, your tonality, your dialogue, what are you saying? Are you scaring them off because you have commission breath? Or are you coming from a point of value and trying to see how you can help them? So going to number 4, online buyer leads. But Tristan, we're talking about listings. How are buyers helpful? Well, look, it's a fact that most sellers become buyers first. They have to feel comfortable with the process of buying before they decide to sell. So they do a lot of research online, right? This is why they go on Google and they're like, well, how far is that school? How's the neighborhood? Is it close to the beach? How about hiking? What's there to do? And so this is why they become a buyer first. And you have to think, okay, well, maybe I'm not asking the right questions when I get the online buyer leads. And I would say probably so. You're not asking the right questions, and you're not asking them in the right order. You don't have the right tonality, and you have commission breath. So when people come through as a buyer and you come from a point of helping them out, and they'd say, hey, Tristan, I'm just looking, or I'm just browsing, which everybody says, right? What's your response to that? Okay, thanks, hang up. All right, this is why I started with mindset first. That's not the process. The process is, well, look, Joe, everybody's just coming in and looking. I do that sometimes too. I mean, I'm always window shopping at homes on the beach, right? And the last thing I want to do is spam you, though. I don't want to send you homes you don't want to see, even if you don't end up buying. I just want the experience with my website to be good. So what are you looking for? And then they open up. They're like, well, I'm kind of looking for a home in Broad Beach, but maybe not on the beach. Do you have anything off to the side? I'm like, yeah, let me see what I can find for you. Let me see what's out there. And Joe, what's bringing you to Malibu, man? Oh, well, we're looking to maybe make a move in a year. We don't know. We don't know. We're going to retire in a year. Oh, okay. I'm finding their motivation. And then I'm like, well, Joe, you need to sell a home before you move out here, man? Or are you going to come in with all cash? Well, we need to sell a home. I'm asking the right questions with the right tonality and the right dialogue. You see, it makes sense. A lot of us don't ask those questions, though. And so for me, number 4 is online buyer leads. Number 5, where's my phone? Number 5, your phone. Your phone. There's this great app, and I'm going to put up the link to it. Let me see if I have it on here first. Yeah, I do. All right. There's a great app that I need you to get. It's called MC Backup Pro, and you see the App Store there for the Apple Store. Well, guess what? Google didn't get left out. They actually did something great, and they also have it. MC Backup Pro. What it is it allows you to take out all of your contacts from here into a CSV file, and then upload them into whoever your CRM is, whatever it is. If it's Follow Boss, if it's Chime, if it's Command, doesn't matter, right? But the good thing is now you can start organizing them and using them and categorizing them and calling them and finding out if they're what they're up to. Because they're not going to do anything in here. You're going to look through and you're like, who's that? Who's Mary? I don't even know who Mary is, right? You've got to do a better job of using this, because now when you put them into a CRM and you're calling them and seeing how they're doing. I mean, look, I looked through mine. I had over 3,000 people here. I can tell you, I haven't talked to all 3,000, right? But I bet you if I sit down and do it and I'm like, hey, this is Tristan. Somehow you're on my phone and I don't know who this is. How are you doing? Find a script that works for you, but they're on your phone for a reason. And we just need to use our phone better. All right, going to the next one. That's number 6, is circle prospecting. A lot of you may know it as circle prospecting or geo-farming or just some other way, which just means that if you've got a buyer in an area, typically, if you've got a buyer in an area and they couldn't find a home, you pick up the phone and you dial that area. And again, I'm going to go back to RedX because they do such a great job of this, and I'm going to show you they also have that feature as well. Let me just pop it open here. Now, when I go to RedX, you're going to see that they call it, I think they call it geo-farming. And I have to log in again on RedX so you can watch my little login process when I switch my screen. All right, here we go. Now, over on the left, you can see you have options. We went through expireds, we went through for sale by owners, but check out geo leads, right? Geo leads right there. Now, we can make it to a specific area, like I have it. I have it for a specific area in Westlake Village called Via Colinas, because that's the area that I chose that we were calling to, because we have a client. We ended up listing a home there, and now we have 2 buyers that want to buy there but haven't been able to find a home. That is what I call circle prospecting. Right? Or you can call it geo leads like they do. But the moment you pick up the phone, there's a purpose, and you call them up and you say, hey, whoever was on there, I think Jeff, Jeffrey Fox. Hey, Jeff, this is Tristan with Keller Williams Realty. How are you? I always like to ask how they're doing. I'm shocked. They say, yeah, how can I help you? Well, Jeff, I have 2 sets of clients that ended up losing the home that they really wanted in the market here in Via Colinas, and they can't find anything else. I'm wondering if you or maybe a neighbor has been thinking about selling anytime soon, because they really, really want a home just like yours, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with that square footage. Have you given it a thought? That's circle prospecting. And it works so well right now because most of us are working with buyers that can't find a home because of the multiple offer situation. So that's pretty powerful if it's done right. And again, the way we do it is with a dialer through RedX because it works really, really well. So number 7, this one should be a no-brainer, and I put it down on number 7 because I just put it down on number 7. It's past clients and Sphere. So I've got here, you know what? I'm going to show you I'm going to go back to my screen, but I'm going to show you something that we got from the profile from NAR. It's, I think it was this one. Let me see. Most difficult steps. No, it was the other one. There it was. So you see, primary reason for selling previous home. Now, when you're calling your past clients and you're calling your Sphere, right? This is important because now you have a reason to call them. The last thing you want to do, and look, I have a video on this, but the last thing you want to do is call them up to touch base. Like, don't you get tired of people touching your bases? Like, hey, this is Tristan with Keller Williams Realty. I'm just calling it to touch base with you. Or hey, this is Tristan with Keller Williams. I'm just calling to check in. How are you doing? I mean, that sounds kind of like what is the intent? Where's the originality and the genuineness and the I care about you? Where is that? Where's the value? Don't do that. Instead, use stats like this that tell you information that you can use. Check this out. This is recent. This is information that people can use. This is a primary reason for selling previous homes. Check this out, and it tells you how far they're moving. Look at the number 1 reasons here. Want to move closer to friends or family. Home is too small. Change in family situation, marriage, birth, whatever. Job, relocation. Home is too large. Neighborhood has become less desirable. Now, hold on that one. I'm going to talk to you about that. Neighborhood has become less desirable. What we find is some people in California, I'm in California, even though the market is crazy hot here, there are some people that pick up the phone and be like, hey, Tristan, we want to move. We don't want to be in California anymore. So I've reversed that. We have our team calling our database in Sphere, and I'm like, and they say, hey, look, I don't know what situation you're in, but I know you're hearing a lot of people want to leave California, and in some cases they do, and they're leaving to Idaho, which is interesting, or they're leaving to Arizona or Texas. Idaho is the number one place that people from California move to. And so we lead with that. It's like, by any chance, are you thinking about making a move anytime soon? Because we're seeing some of our clients are moving, and some of them are moving within California. But then you start using stats like that, and you start giving value, and then people are like, oh yeah, you know what? I have heard people moving. And they are moving here, they are moving there. But you just have to give yourself the chance to connect with people at a different level. None of this touching bases and none of this crap about checking in. All right? Let's be more genuine and connect with people at a deeper level, because once you start that conversation, right? Once you have that conversation, oh, we have mild winters and long summers in Idaho. I love Idaho. I actually looked at Idaho. I was like, oh, Idaho. They have some great lakes in Idaho. So yeah, that's good. Good comment on there. All right, number 8. We've got 3 more to go, 8, 9, and 10. Number 8 is non-owner occupied. And I know RedX, because we use RedX a lot, calls them FRBOs, for rent by owners, right? I just had to look down here because I want to show you where that is too on this screen. I'm going to switch over from this NAR stat and go into RedX. Here, now you can see on the left again, this is a FRBO. If I click on FRBOs, these are for rent by owners, right? Now you can definitely go to Zillow, which I have open, by the way. You can go to Zillow and use them like they use us. You can do that too, right? But here, for example, I pulled this one up previously. It's in Los Angeles, and it says listed by property owner. Check that out. Now his number's right there. I can give him a call, right? Now the challenge with this is that you have to go through Zillow, and some of these are listed by property management companies. Some of them are listed by real estate agents, and then some are listed by property owners. Now we do call through RedX. Oh, there it is. We do call through RedX, and people are like, well, what would you say, Tristan? How does that sound? Well, look, I pop up the script if you forget. I'm like, hey, I'm calling about the rental you have listed online. Are you still trying to fill that vacancy? Right? And then you can go into whatever it is that you want to talk about. So the point of that is that for rent by owners, there's a reason they want to rent, especially in our area where a lot of people want to get rid of their rentals. And we've gotten a listing from this, a small condo we got 2 weeks ago from an exact call like this. So this works. You just have to remember, whatever you're going to do, you have to go all in. This is why one of our agents has gotten 4 listing appointments just from for sale by owners over the last week, because they're going all in. So pick your weapon here. Now, the thing I want to focus on when it comes to any of these, and I'll go into 9 and 10, is the dialogue and the scripts, right? Those matter. What you say and how you say it matters. So I'm going to put up the scripts that I use. There were ones I created. But if you do know Darryl Davis, or you want to check him out, or Borino, they do absolutely amazing. So thank you, Tristan, for the value add tonight. No problem. I've got 2 more for you, so hang in there. Two, right? Now this is 3. So number 9 is short sales or notice of defaults. Now I'm going to go back to my favorite website. You guys are probably getting tired of me showing you RedX, but look, it's got all the stuff we use: expireds, geo leads for sale owners, foreclosures. That's where I want to go to. I'm hitting foreclosures there. I click on the filter and it says, well, what do I have there? Pre-foreclosures and auctions. Right now, if I want to just call auctions, great. If I want to just call pre-foreclosures, I could just check that box. Now, to me, this is important. People are like, well, Tristan, well, how does this work? Well, let's check off auction, because we actually call more pre-foreclosures. When it comes to pre-foreclosures, these are usually people who have a notice of default, and they're having some type of a struggle typically, right? So you have to be very sensitive on your approach here. If you lack emotional awareness, please don't call these people at all. But if you're really good with people, then you will do really well with these because, again, you're coming from a point of helping them out. You see here, you have 2 DNCs. Don't call the do not calls. Call this one. You got Adriana Sanchez. You're going to dial that number, and then you're going to go through and hit her up. If you're like, Tristan, what the hell do I say? I'm like, well, here you go. Click on the hide script, show script. It tells you what to say, just in case you don't know, right? Now, if you want to go a little deeper on this, we also use another website called Realty Track. Let me see if I can pop that one open for you so you can see how that looks, because Realty Track's been around for a long time, and I can show you really quick. Realty Track, there it is. All right, I'm going to show you on my window. Here's Realty Track. If you go and search for, let's say, I'm going to just choose Malibu, right? Malibu, California. And you see what pops up, you're like, let's see what pops up that's foreclosed on or that's getting foreclosed on, right? You've got Winding Way for 2.5, right? You've got this one for 1.5 on Pacific Coast Highway. That looks like it's on the beach. Nice. Now, you have to understand, us as real estate agents, we understand what it means when it goes into notice of default, but most people don't, right? So this is your opportunity to reach out to people that may need help. Now, as soon as I click on view more details, it's not going to give it to me. It's going to want me to sign up. So I think it costs like $49, $59, something along those lines, but you could definitely use that site as well. So there you go. Pre-foreclosures, auctions, short sales, notice of default. And then the last one, number 10, pay attention because it's super simple, but you may not have thought about this. This is easy, all right? Your dialogue with everyone, mostly everyone, not everyone, mostly. All right, past clients, sphere, expireds, for sale by owners, your database, online leads, seller and buyer. They're missing something, and that's this. With everybody that you talk to, you've got to get into a habit of asking at the end, towards the end of the conversation, not if they could refer you to somebody, because I hate that question. You should ask if they've ever thought about investing in real estate. And you will find more often than not that people have thought about it. They're like, I have. And this is after you get them dialoguing. This is after you find their motivation in the conversation. This is after you're talking to them and you've shared whatever you're sharing. You say, hey, we're going to just do Joe. Hey, Joe, have you ever thought about investing? I mean, not in this state, but in other states? Because I see that the prices are really low. Interest rates are extremely low. Have you guys thought about it in the last year or maybe before? And you'd be surprised how many people say, yeah, we've thought about it. How does it work? How does that work, Tristan? And then that's where you have a network of people in lab coat agents, right, to refer to. You just have to start asking better questions, right? And your dialogue has to be better. Your tonality has to be on point. And the only way to do that is if you practice. So those 10 again, I'll give them to you. Number 1 is expireds. 2 is for sale by owners. 3, online seller leads. 4, online buyer leads. Yeah. Number 5, use your phone. Get MC Backup Pro. Number 6, circle prospecting or geofarming, whatever you want to call it. Number 7, past clients or sphere. I bundled those up. Number 8, non-owner occupied. Some people call them FRBOs, like RedX does. FRBOs for rent by owners. Number 9, short sales, notice of default, pre-foreclosures, that whole world. And number 10 is you've got to include the ask the question for investing in your dialogue at the end of some of these conversations. That's all I got for you. It was a little bit of a long one, but thank you for hanging in there. For those of you that missed it, I got this awesome Spider-Man frame that I'm going to hang in the back. So I'm excited about that one, but have a great night, everybody. Have a good morning. I don't know when you're watching this, but thanks for tuning in.